You've heard something. Deborah's talked to you, hasn't she?
I spoke with Deborah. She told me about your little talk.
You mean she lied to you about our little talk?
You held out on me, Raven. You were at the Unicorn the night Dawn was murdered, weren't you?
That doesn't mean I stuck a knife in his back, for heaven's sake. That's what she wants you to believe. Don't you understand that? She wants me to go to jail.
You withheld vital evidence. Now, how are you going to deny that?
Derek, if I thought it was vital, I would have told you. Don't you understand? I mean, I want you to find Elliot's murder. As a matter of fact, I thought you already did.
Deborah said you saw somebody there.
I saw a shadow. I saw a shadow that scared the living daylights out of me, so I left.
Makes you a material witness. Don't you realize that? Now, she said you resisted her when she tried to keep questioning.
Oh, great, great. That means I'm going to be arrested for resisting an officer now. I don't understand what that woman has against me. Does she love you or what? She's probably mad about you and knows...
Stop bringing up personal motives, please. You cannot deny the fact that you withheld information.
I didn't think it mattered. I'm telling you, I couldn't see anything. I couldn't tell whether it was a man, a woman, a beast, or a puppet, for that matter, and it was probably him.
Who?
Kelly McGrath. He was probably sneaking around there getting ready to attack Elliot if he hadn't already. Now, Derek, come on. Are you going to make a big deal out of this?
I can't suppress this information.
Look, I don't want you to call it evidence because it isn't. And I would also like to know who this mysterious witness is.
Well, we don't have any witness.
What about the witness that Deborah said saw me in the Unicorn?
There's no witness. Where did you get that idea?
Well, she told me that you...
What?
She was lying to me. She was bluffing. Why, that dirty little... I could kill her!
Raven, now don't talk like that. Shut up. Listen to me. I'll be able to leave here in a few minutes. I'll come right to your house and we'll talk.
Who is it?
Sharon, Mom.
Oh, good. I'm so glad you...
We have to talk, Raven.
You have got to stop Deborah from doing this to me.
Calm down.
She is trying to railroad me, isn't it obvious? If you cared about me, you would stop her. She's trying to send me to jail.
She's not the boss, remember? I am.
Well, good, then you can stop her. Tell her I didn't do anything wrong.
That seems to be a debatable point.
Wait a minute. Has she brainwashed you or what?
You were aware of vital evidence pertaining to the Dorn murder case. You kept it to yourself.
Well, I didn't think it was important.
Willfully withholding evidence looks just as incriminating as Kelly McGrath's disappearance.
I didn't want you to know I was there because I didn't want you to know I had a date with Elliot.
Are you afraid of my notorious jealousy?
I was afraid you would misunderstand and think that I was still interested in him.
No, so you went to see him at a disinterest.
No, I went to see him because of the letter, that stupid letter. He was going to show it to my husband and ruin my chances of winning the custody battle.
How did you get that letter in the first place?
I don't know. He stole it.
I thought it was supposed to have been lost.
Well, he found it. And then he used it to play a stupid game with me.
What's he doing? Blackmailing you for what? Money?
Money? I don't have any money. The only money I have is my allowance from my father's estate, and with inflation, that's practically worthless.
What could he possibly hope to get? Oh, I can figure that out.
Oh, why did that letter ever turn up? If it hadn't, I'd be rich now and nothing would matter.
It was very important for you to keep him from producing that letter, wasn't it?
Derek, I did not go there to kill Elliot Dorn. Whatever reason I went there for, I didn't get any further than the entranceway.
Why no further?
Because there was someone lurking around in there.
All right. What does someone look like?
I don't know. It was a shadow, but it was moving.
It's not very much to go on.
Well, I'm sorry, but I was so frightened I wasn't about to stand around in there and find out who it was. I just ran out of there. I just thought of something. If I saw that figure, then that figure must have seen me.
Supposed to help you keep yourself in control. I don't want you numb.
There is a killer out there, and my name could be next on his hit parade.
Kelly McGrath is under arrest. Now, come on, put these thoughts out of you.
Kelly McGrath could be up for bail and probably outside my front door.
Well, we'll keep him under surveillance.
I want police protection.
I'm not going to put a guard out in front of your door.
All right, then, why don't you put me under protective custody, then?
What?
Well, he wouldn't dare do anything if I was sleeping next to the chief of police, would he?
I think you got a little carried away with yourself.
For someone who's supposed to care about me, you don't seem very worried about something awful happening to me.
I'd be worried if I thought there was something to worry about.
Well, if you loved me, you'd protect me.
My feelings have got nothing to do with this.
Well, do you love me or not?
How did we get onto this topic?
I want to know. Come on.
I want to go. Bye.
It sounds to me like I'm getting the brush off.
You know that's not it.
No, come on. Come on, I can take it. Am I just a pleasant diversion?
That's not true, and you know
Oh,
it.
perhaps a preferable alternative to a cold shower.
Now, will you stop talking like that? I hate it when you denigrate yourself.
Well, if it's true, Derek.
No, it's not true.
Well, then, what are your feelings?
Now, I never led you on. You know that.
I just want to know if your intentions are honorable.
I'm not very good when it comes to expressing things like this. I'm sorry.
Well, I think you should learn to express yourself. Do you love me?
Yeah?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, I love you.
You ask me, I think that George Walling thinks that if he can indict and convict Kelly McGrath, that he will get that permanent position.
No, I wouldn't worry about that too much. You see, I've got it on good authority. The job's already been offered to my car.
Really?
No kidding. Now, you know, that's the most sensible thing I've heard around here since Mayor Finley took office.
Well, he's not going to prosecute his own nephew.
No, he wouldn't prosecute this case anyway, even if he accepts the job. They wouldn't use a top prosecutor. They consider this case much too simple. Even if you don't. Yes, Helen? Okay, put her on. You certainly know how to call it a bad time. Look, I'm in a meeting.
Derek, I just heard on the radio that you let McGrath go.
Let him go. He's out on bail.
How could you do that to me?
I didn't do it. The magistrate does this at the arraignment.
Derek, I am terrified.
Raven, there is nothing to be terrified about. Listen, hold on a second. Listen, guys, can we finish this up in tomorrow's departmental meeting? It's not really crucial now. Please.
Anything you say, Chief.
Thank you. I told you there's nothing to worry about.
He's a dangerous criminal. He's already knifed 3 people in cold blood.
He's only knifed 2 people. He didn't knife Molly Sherwood. What are you worried about her for anyway?
I'm worried about myself because I happened to see a shadow at the Unicorn, and that shadow is a person, and the person was probably McGrath.
It's possibly McGrath.
Well, I've already told people that I saw someone there. Deborah Saxon knows, so the whole damn town probably knows by now.
Is this what you're worried about? He's going to be indicted in 2 days.
That's just the point. He's probably going to want to get rid of all the witnesses. Don't you understand? I am frightened. Derek, can I see you?
Oh. All right, I guess I could take an hour's lunch.
Oh, good. Come over here. I'll make something for the 2 of us, okay?
All right, I'll be there at 12:30. Raven.
What?
You don't have to worry about anything anymore.
Okay.
It's Derek. Come on.
Oh, thank God you're here. Come in.
You all right? What's the matter with you?
I have never been so frightened in my life.
How am I going to get you over this Kelly McGrath
Derek,
thing?
you don't know what just happened.
What, since we phoned?
Yes, about 10 minutes ago.
What happened?
Well, I went out for a second. I invited you over, and I didn't have any food, so I went down to the grocery to get some cold cuts or something, and when I came back, I walked up to the door, and then I was fumbling around for my keys, and I saw the shadow on the wall. I was so scared I didn't know whether I should just drop my groceries or what. And then I swear I saw that shadow move. And it had a knife in its hand. I didn't. I screamed and I ran away.
Come on. I just think you're seeing too many shadows.
No, I'm not. There was somebody there, and it was him. I am going to be his next victim, Derek, and I know it.
No. Nothing's going to happen to you. I'll see it.
I'm a little bit confused. If you came over here for a babysitting job, you know Jamie isn't here anymore.
Oh, yes, of course I knew that, Mrs. Swift.
Well, if you want to see him, you'll have to go to New York because that's where he is.
Well, I didn't come here because of Jamie. I came because I've been meaning to tell you something for a very long time. How sorry I am about your poor mother.
My mother?
Yes, about that awful thing that happened to her. I can't tell you how sorry I am about that accident.
Well, thank you, but of course that was a few months ago.
I really should have offered my sympathies a long time ago, but for various reasons I couldn't.
Of course, thank you. Did you know my mother?
No, I don't think so, actually. I only had one chance to meet her when she came here that day for tea. The day she died.
Oh, yes, I remember. You were babysitting for Jamie that afternoon.
Well, that's right. I haven't had a decent night's sleep since that day.
But why? You didn't even know her.
No, she didn't deserve to die. She wasn't supposed to. Do you see?
No, I'm afraid I don't.
It's all her fault. April Scott. Oh, you're not a real good friend of April's, are you?
Now, wait a minute. What does April have to do with all this?
Everything, just everything. It may not seem fair to hear me say this, but April Scott is really the one responsible for your mother's death.
What?
Yes, she just destroyed her life the same indirect way that she destroyed my Emily. You might even say that April Scott is a murderer.
Molly, you could call April a lot of things, one of which is a simpering little goody two-shoes, but how could she possibly be responsible for my mother's death?
She was, Mrs. Swift.
But she didn't know my mother any better than you did. As a matter of fact, she didn't even meet her when my mother came to Monticello.
She could have met her if she kept that date she made with you.
What date?
Do you remember? April made a date to come here to the apartment to see you that day.
That's right, she did. She was going to talk about the custody trial, but then my mother came over on her way to London, and then we canceled the date.
I wish I'd known that, Mrs. Swift. You don't know how often I have wished to turn back the clock on that day.
I wish I could forget about that day.
I can't forget about it. I can't forget any one moment of it. I just put Jamie to bed for his nap. And then I made myself a cup of tea. And I was standing in the kitchen thinking about what I was going to do. It wasn't easy for me to think about it, even though I knew it was necessary. You see, I knew that April was expected late that afternoon. I'd heard her talk to you about it. That's why I volunteered to stay with Jamie. And that's why, earlier in the week, I had made a certain purchase. I didn't know very much about poisons, but it was easy enough to find what I needed. I just went to the garden supply store. The label said it was supposed to kill garden pests, but I wanted it to used for something else. I knew you didn't use sugar, Mrs. Swift, but I did know that April did. That was one of the advantages of being her housekeeper. The stuff itself was white and looked like crystals, not exactly like sugar, but I thought if I stirred it up very well, there's simply no way to know it was there. It was only April, eventually, who would. But there was one thing that I didn't know. That April wouldn't be here for tea. You do understand, Mrs. Swift, that I was doing this for Emily. I didn't hate April. I hated the idea of killing anyone, especially your poor innocent mother.
Oh, Mother.
Yes.
you know such words, Arthur. The way you always made me feel.
I did nothing of the kind.
Yes, you did. Especially after... Never mind, I shouldn't have. Would you like some sugar? 3 spoons, please. That's good news. You still have your sweetness, don't you? I wish I had your metabolism. Maybe I do. Maybe I inherited that along with your feelings about children.
What feelings? Are you trying to tell me that I didn't care for you as a child?
Maybe you did a little bit. Till Daddy died.
No. That wasn't true.
Yes, it is. I always thought you blamed me for Daddy's death.
It was the other way around. You hated me after he died. Oh, he adored you so much. Too much. You've always felt it. Alone. Pat died.
Oh, Mother. It was an accident that killed her, Mrs. Smith. I just didn't put enough poison in the sugar bowl, so it didn't take effect until she was in her automobile. I hated what I did to your mother, Mrs. Swift. I hated even trying to get rid of April, but it was the only answer I could think of to see that my Emily was well and happy again. You see, 10 years I had watched her lonely and miserable until that man that she thought was her husband came back to her. And well, suddenly on account of April, she was in a hospital, almost a vegetable. Well, naturally, I thought that if April was out of Drake's life, Emily could go back to him, and she'd be happy again. We'd all be happy. Oh, no, please, Mrs. Swift, don't go. I haven't finished. If you want to know if I forgive you, I do.
You don't understand. I didn't come here for forgiveness.
Molly, why don't you go home and rest?
Oh, I couldn't do that, Mrs. Swift. You see, I heard that young lady detective, Miss Saxon, say that you were at the Unicorn the night that Elliot Dorn was killed. Is that true?
I don't understand.
Were you at the club that night that Elliot Dorn was killed, and did you see anyone there?
I don't understand. Oh, it's very important to me, Mrs.
It's very important. You see, I saw Elliot Dorn the night that he was killed when he came to visit you, only you weren't at home. After I let him in, I went to put Jamie to bed in his room. Mr. Dorn went into the kitchen, and he started poking around as if he was looking for something. Mrs. Twisty, now, shouldn't you leave?
Molly, can I ask you a question? Were you sitting for Jamie the day Raven's mother came back from the hospital?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I think he was.
Did you have the good fortune to meet the woman?
No, I didn't even know she was coming over.
I see. Molly, can you remember if Raven was in a hospitable mood that day?
Oh, I suppose. Did she cry? I mean, why are you asking me this?
I was just wondering if Raven felt up to playing the good daughter that day, that fateful day, and whether she served her mother anything to eat or drink.
Oh, I wouldn't know anything about that. I mean, she came way after I left.
It was late afternoon, wasn't it?
Yes, and what I've heard was...
Well, that translates to tea time in merry old England.
You'd know more about that than I would.
Raven is lived there. And I'm sure she would know that the first thing Nadine would want when she arrived would be a piping hot cup of tea with sugar to take.
You see? He knew. Mr. Dorn knew about the sugar, about how your mother died. And I realized that I was in terrible danger.
So you killed Elliot?
I
had to do something. I just had to. I couldn't go to prison. I had my poor Emily to take care of. Well, no, it wasn't exactly Emma. Now I have to be very truthful with you. I couldn't bear the idea of a trial and a sentence, spending any time in that terrible place with all those horrible criminal women. Oh, no. I had to stop Elliot Dorn from telling anyone about the poison in the sugar bowl. So, at night, instead of going home to the penthouse, I went to the Unicorn. It was so crowded and noisy, and the lights were flashing that nobody noticed me. I mean, very sure that a waitress didn't even see me. I walked in and melted into the crowd and found my way to the powder room, where I stayed for 2 hours, hiding until the Unicorn closed for the night. And then I came out. My heart was pounding so loud, it was almost as if that awful music was still playing. But it wasn't. There was only a small light on near the end of the bar. I opened my purse and took out the kitchen knife that I brought with me. And then I realized how foolish I was being. I couldn't just stab that man in the back and hope to get away with it. I'd leave fingerprints. If I couldn't get the knife out again, I'd lose the police all the evidence they need. But I got this idea. When I first came in the back of the stage, I'd seen this clown puppet, and I remembered thinking, my goodness, they make them just like a glove. So I put on the clown puppet over my hand, and I was able to clean the knife and keep my fingerprints off the handle. Then suddenly there was a noise. Someone was coming. So I ducked behind the little stage.
Anybody home? Great night. Hearing sounds now. Made a fool move.
The only way. You do understand that?
Yes, I do.
Oh, good. Because later I discovered I wasn't safe. I hadn't been alone in the Unicorn. Someone had been there. And someone had seen me. Now, that was you, wasn't it, Mrs. Swift? It was dreadful. Oh, you just don't know how awful it was, Mrs. Swift. But it just had to be done. I had to be safe. That was the only way to do it. Do you understand? Oh, I'm glad. Because then I discovered that I wasn't safe. I hadn't been alone in the unicorn. Someone had been there. Someone had seen me. Now, that was you, wasn't it, Mrs. Swift?
No, I wasn't there.
Oh, yes, it was. You told the police you were there, and you told them that you saw someone there.
No, I saw Kelly McGrath. I said I saw Kelly McGrath.
The young man, puppeteer. But he wasn't there. Only his puppets were there. I was very grateful for that, I can tell you. Well, I can't tell you why I took the clown puppet with me. I suppose I saw the blood and thought it might incriminate me in some way, so I stuffed it in my pocketbook and laughed.
Molly, I didn't see you. Ask the police. Really, I didn't accuse you.
No, I don't know whether I should believe
No, you can believe me. You don't have anything to fear from me. Really, you don't.
Don't I, Mrs. Swift? After what I've just told you.
Molly, listen to me. I'm telling the truth now. I had a date with Elliot that night. I was supposed to talk to him about something that was very important. See, he had this letter that he was going to give to my husband, who was the district attorney, and it would have messed up my chance at winning the custody trial. And so I had to try to talk him out of it.
Oh, then I did you a big favor, didn't I, Mrs. Swift? You must have been very grateful to me.
Yes, so you did the whole world a favor. Nobody's mad at you. He was a horrible man. Now, they'll probably give you a very light sentence.
No. I don't want any sentence. I'm not going to prison, Mrs. Swift. I told you. I'd rather be dead than in a place like that.
Molly, then why don't you leave town? See, I won't tell anybody. I've already told the police that I saw Kelly McGrath there.
But why? Why did you tell them that when you know it wasn't true?
Because they were hounding me. They thought that I killed Elliot, and I told them I didn't, but then when they knew that I was at the Unicorn, I had to tell them something. And besides, Kelly McGrath is a maniac.
Is he?
Yes. Why else would he have tried to stab his own attorney? And You did it, didn't you? Why? Why would you try to kill a harmless person like Cliff Nelson?
Harmless? Oh, Mrs. Swift, not on your life. That's a very clever young man. Clever enough to frighten me.
Molly, why?
Well, there was a party, remember? In the middle of the custody suit, when that letter of yours came into court and everybody was so happy about it.
Well, I still don't know what happened. You were going to tell me. Well, how'd you get that letter?
Well, I told you all about that. It was all Cliff's work. I may not be much of a lawyer, but he's a wonderful detective.
Well, I've been thinking about this stuff. You know, I may be willing to change jobs. This detective work is fun.
Don't get carried away.
No, I'm working on my next case already. Which one's that? Elliot Dorn's murder.
Are you serious, Cliff?
Yeah, I know who killed Elliot Dorn, and I'm going to prove it, too.
I heard that while I was passing sandwiches around to everybody. I pretended, of course, that I wasn't listening and that I wasn't frightened about what I was hearing, but I was. And you know what? Mr. Scott saved my life.
Draper?
He did. He sent me down to the office to get some documents that night. And I found Cliff Nelson working there alone. It was the perfect opportunity. It was still in my handbag. But I decided to use it. Because, of course, by that time, I knew the police were suspecting Kelly McGrath. It was awful. It was much worse than what I had to do to Mr. Dorn. Because, Mrs. Swift, I just liked that poor man so much. And I didn't want him to die. I was so flustered, I forgot to leave the puppet. I just stuffed it in my bag and ran out down the corridor. While I was waiting for the elevator, I noticed that someone was coming up to my floor. So I hid in the corner, and I watched him go right down the hall in the direction of the office that I had just left.
McGrath?
Yes, but I didn't know it. All I knew is that I had to get out of there.
Well, I rang the elevator. And then I heard his footsteps coming back behind me. So I decided quickly I'd turn around and look as if I was just getting off.
Oh, excuse me, ma'am.
It seemed the best idea to go back to the office and pretend that that was the first time I'd come in, and that's what I did. So you see, Mrs. Swift, that's how I discovered Mr. Nelson's body. So, Mrs. Swift, we just have, you see, a great deal in common. Both of us would like that young man to take the blame, but well, I just wouldn't be happy about it.
Well, then tell the truth. Don't you understand? If you go to the police, then they won't be as hard on you. Just tell the truth, Molly.
You don't want to understand me. Don't you see how hard I have worked not to be arrested? I won't be if all goes well. I won't be. I'll be free. Oh, free to take care of my poor and lovely Emily. I'll be free. And we'll be a family again. Me, Emily, and Dreyfus. Yes, the husband. If it all goes well. Mrs. Swift, are you listening to me?
Yes, I am.
Of course, the way things turned out, I didn't really need to try and kill your friend, Mr. Nelson, at all. He didn't have a clue about who killed Elliot Dorn. He was just bluffing.
He's a jerk. He thought I was the suspect.
Yes, I found that out later, but by that time the damage was done. Oh, I am just so glad I didn't seriously hurt him. Because you see, Mrs. Swift, I don't really want to hurt anyone.
Molly, that's good. That's good, so you should go to the police and tell them that, because then they won't be so hard on you, and maybe you'll get off lightly.
Oh, no. You never get off lightly when it comes to murder. It's much better just to simply never tell them the truth.
But that's impossible, don't you understand? The chief of police is a smart man.
But he's already indicted Kelly McGrath. That doesn't make him too smart.
Well, he hasn't convicted him? And Kelly McGrath has a very good lawyer, don't you see? If he gets off, then the case is still open, and that means you can be in more trouble than you are right now.
But I'm not in any trouble, Mrs. Swift. You think that anyone thinks that I'm involved? Why, Mrs. I had no reason to kill Mr. Dorn that any of them could possibly know about, isn't that true?
No.
And why should they suspect that I wanted to hurt Mr. Nelson? He was just a stranger to me. And Mr. Swift, think about the third victim.
Third victim. It was you.
Yes, Mrs. Swift, it was me. I decided to play that little game one afternoon when I was in the hospital, and I saw Kelly McGrath. He was doing one of his puppet shows with children. And I suddenly realized who he was and how perfect it would be if I was attacked. Mr. Scott, I don't know what to do. I think someone's after me. I don't know who it is, a mugger or a purse snatcher, somebody. I was on my way to the bus stop, and I heard footsteps. I looked back, and someone ducked into a doorway.
Molly, you sure you're not just using your imagination too much?
There was someone. Just because I'm on the phone with it, I'm afraid to come out. Please watch them.
Molly, take it easy and listen to me. I want you to hang up the phone, dial the emergency number. The police can get a car faster there than I can get there. And when you finish that, hang up and call us back so we know you're all right, all right?
Yes, please, that's what I should do. I'm really sorry to have bothered you, but I'm probably And that's exactly what it was. Nothing at all. I got out of the phone booth. I took the puppet out of my pocketbook. I dropped it on the ground, and I fainted. I can tell you that I was so tense by that time, the faint was really genuine.
Yes, I sent for an ambulance. That's the first thing I did. You know, I didn't see anyone at all in the vicinity.
But I did find something.
And now, if you don't mind, I think I better be getting along. I have someplace else to go.
No, I don't mind at all. Go ahead, Molly. You see, April went down to the other house, the old house in Oakdale. Yes, I know. She went back there with the baby, and that's where she's staying. And I'm going to go there, just to see that there are no more problems for Emily, and that she's happy, and that Draper is free. Police taught me. Now put that knife down. I said put it down right now. Now get away from that table.
Mrs. Fish, you don't have to do that. I'll just go away and you'll never hear from me again. I'll just take Emily. We'll both go away together.
Don't you make one move toward me, you raving lunatic!
Why won't you understand me? Emily is so alone in the world. I made a promise to her father, her dying father, that I would take care of her. She's like a daughter to me. But
you are insane and you need to be locked up.
I know what I did was wrong. But what's done is done. Now, why does anybody want to send me to prison?
You think I'm going to let you out of here so you can go to Oakdale and murder April?
Why should you worry? You've never cared very much about April Scott.
My God, that doesn't mean I'm going to go let you murder her. Now get back! I'm calling the police. Got it. Guys.
Promise to her father, her dying father, that I would take care of her. She's like a daughter to me. But
you are insane and you need to be locked up.
I know what I did was wrong. But what's done is done. Now, why does anybody want to send me to prison?
You think I'm going to let you out of here so you can go to Oakdale and murder April?
Why should you worry? You've never cared very much about April Scott.
My God, that doesn't mean I'm going to go let you murder her. Now get back! I'm calling the police. Got it. Guys.
I saw Kelly McGrath leave here. Yeah, that's right. I think he came back.
speak of the devil.
What's that, Mr. Whitney?
Nothing, Gunther. Come on in.
Here are the contracts you wanted. Good evening, Miss Duvall.
Oh, good. Well, here, I'll look these over. You help yourself to a drink if you like.
Thank you, Mr. Whitney.
Well, good night. I'm tired.
Well, it's not that late, Martine.
The room is suddenly rather foul.
Did I say something wrong, Mr. Whitney?
Oh, I wouldn't worry about Martine. Tell me about this meeting you had with the newest member of my Admiration Society.
There's not much to tell. I met Mrs. Swift outside Bennett's department store. I held some packages for her while she hailed a cab.
How gallant of you. And you seem to think that she'd like to see me?
Well, from the way she asked about you, I'd say that's a pretty good bet.
Well, I may call that flattering.
She is a very attractive woman, isn't she?
Oh, come, Gunther. Would I be seen in the presence of any woman who wasn't?
You know, I thought you might like to call her, so I dug her number out of the phone book.
Well, thank you, Gunther. What a nice idea.
Just trying to be of service, sir.
Well, just to show you how much I appreciate your efforts on my behalf, I think I might just give this lovely lady a call.
A time like the present.
And if what you suspect is true, this phone call might just make this lady's evening. Well, it seems as if Mrs. Swift is out this evening.
On All My Children.
I'm so relieved that Brooke is here. He's just been hanging on waiting to see her. What are you trying to say? Oh, Daddy! Daddy!
And on the edge of night, the murder is almost complete.
I just have to go upstairs to find a stool or something.
But her last victim wants revenge. All My Children, the edge of night, weekdays.
Look, very real. There's there. Oh, she would have stood on a chair or something. Maybe I can find a stool or a box or... Oh, perfect. Well, I just have to go upstairs and find a stool or something. It's easy.
Try putting the covers over your head. Hold on. I want you to hear this, Calvin. Look, duty calls, right? I gotta go. I'll talk to you.
Good night.
Good night. What is it, Al?
That's caught a squeal about a half hour ago. I thought you'd be interested in hearing the tape.
Well, let's see what you got.
Police headquarters, Sergeant Weston.
I have to speak to the chief of police.
I'm sorry, ma'am. The chief isn't available at the moment.
This is a matter of life and death.
Yes, ma'am. Well, you said it. Just tell me about it.
There is a crazy woman, and she just shot me.
Yours sounds familiar.
Look, you have to send someone out to Oakdale because this woman just went out there to kill April Scott. Oh, God, I don't know the address.
It is her. It's Raven.
Tell me what it's all about.
Please, her name is Molly Sherwood, and she is on her way to Oakdale to murder someone. Now, you please send someone there.
Al, what was done about this?
We called the local precinct in Oakdale to give them what information we had. Of course, they have to find out where this house is so they can check it out.
Look, give me the chief at home. It's an emergency.
Mallory.
Chief, it's Stone.
Yeah. What is it?
Chief, I think you better brace yourself. Raven Swift's been shot. Somebody tried to kill her. Yeah, well, Sergeant Weston sent the medics out.
But there was nobody home.
Wait, hold on, Chief.
Say what? I said there was nobody home.
Chief, the story's getting a little cockeyed. It appears, Raven wasn't there when they arrived.
Well, does anybody know where she is?
Was there anything on the tape about where the woman went?
She said she was heading to Oakdale herself.
Wait a minute. She's been shot and she's driving to Oakdale in a thunderstorm. That makes a lot of sense. Chief, I have just been told that Raven is driving herself out to Oakdale.
What? Have the police out there been notified of this?
Well, yeah, but they're probably going to have a little trouble finding the place because Raven didn't have the address of the Scott house.
Well, if they had any common sense, they could look it up on the phone book for crying out loud.
I'm sure they'll work it out. But the thing that's strange is, why'd she mention Molly Sherwood, and what is April Scott doing back in her old house?
I've got no idea, but I think we better get out there. Listen, pick me up as soon as you can. I'll be ready. And have the address. This is no night to get lost.
Right, Chief.
Oh, my God. Raven better be all right.
I have a flashlight here. Just relax. Oh, my God, my head. Oh, baby, you must have fallen and bumped it because you were unconscious when I came and I thought you were dead. When did you get here? That crazy woman came to my house and she told me that she was going to come here and kill you. Did she? Yes, she tried to kill me. She shot me twice. She shot you? Yes. She must have been a terrible shot because she missed me both times and then I don't know what happened. I just fainted or something. Where's she now? No, it's all right. She fell down. She's right over there. She must have seen me and fell down the stairs. She probably thought I was a ghost.
This is the police.
Oh, God, yes, we're down here. Help.
Who's this?
That's Molly Sherwood. She tried to kill both of us. She's a crazy woman.
She's a dead woman.
Oh, wait a minute, Raven. What has all this got to do with Elliot Dorn? Now, why would Molly Sherwood want to see Dorn dead?
She thought that Elliot knew that it was her. She thought that Elliot figured out the whole sugar thing, so she killed Elliot, and then she tried to kill Cliff Nelson, and then she arranged a little accident for herself to try to blame it on Kelly McGrath.
Sounds like she told you the whole story.
Yes, because she didn't think it would matter. She was going to kill me. But she didn't know that I had a gun.
Yeah, I'll just go away and you'll never hear from me again. I'll just take care of me. We'll both go away together.
Don't you make one move toward me, you raving lunatic!
Why won't you understand me? Emily is so alone in the world. I made a promise to her father, her dying father, that I would take care of her. She's just like a daughter to me.
You are insane and you need to be locked up.
I know what I did was wrong. But what's done is done. Now, why does anybody want to send me to prison? You think I'm going to let you out of here so you can go to Oakdale and murder April? Why should you worry? You've never cared very much about April, Scott. My God, that doesn't mean I'm going to go let you murder her. Now, get back! I am calling the police. Got it. Guys.
I can't believe she missed me, but she did. And then I fell over like I was dead.
You mean you pretended?
No, I fainted. But anybody would have done the same thing if someone was pointing a gun at them at point blank.
It's understandable. Now, go on, what happened?
Well, I don't know how long I was unconscious, but then I opened my eyes, and I was alive. I touched myself to see if I had blood on me, and I figured out she missed me. I had such a headache, and then all of a sudden I remembered that she told me she was going to go to April, so I went to call the police.
Police headquarters, Sergeant West.
I have to speak to the chief of police.
I'm sorry, ma'am. The chief isn't available at the moment.
This is a matter of life and death.
Yes, ma'am. We're used to that. Just tell me about it.
There is a crazy woman, and she just shot me.
And I told them about Molly, and I told them about April, and I couldn't remember the address, but...
Well, we found it all right, Chief, but the lady got here before us.
Oh, God, thank God you did. You should thank your housekeeper. She didn't take shooting lessons like I did.
Raven, those are blanks in the gun.
What?
Bullets that were left in the gun were blanks. I didn't think you could handle live ammunition.
You put blanks in the gun? You put blanks in the gun? I could have been killed.
You would have been, Raven, if they had been real.
You want to transfer the jurisdiction as soon as you get all...
Yeah, anything you say, Chief. I think this one's too big for us anyway.
Okay, come on, Calvin, let's go.
Calvin, Derek, what's going on around here? Where's
Calm
my...
down, Draper. It's okay. It's okay.
Honey, you all right? The baby. My God, where's the baby?
Draper, your housekeeper's in the basement. She's dead.
Yeah, she's confessed to the things that your client, Kelly McGrath, has been accused of. I guess that clears him.
Yeah, Molly did it. She did it all. She killed Elliot. She killed Raven's mother. She tried to kill Raven, and she came here to kill me.
Molly?
Yeah.
What? Why Molly?
Because she wanted to do it for Emily, so that Emily would have you.
Derek, would you excuse us? I need to talk to April alone. Sure. We'll go right in here.
Come on, Cal. We better phone into headquarters. Tell them what's happened.
Yes?
Sergeant, you better stay with the body until your men get here.
Yes, sir.
I really thought Raven killed her mother. It seemed like the beginning of a whole chain of events.
But you were right about that, Red. You were absolutely right. That was the beginning.
Yeah, I know. It seemed so logical to me, too. Raven killed her mother to get Jamie's inheritance, and then she killed Elliot because he was going to get in the way of the custody trial and the money, and then she tried to kill Cliff because he was going to expose her. It just doesn't make any sense.
I know it doesn't, Deborah. I was just saying to Calvin that we're all shaking our heads this morning. We made a mistake, and we have to admit it, that's all.
That's right. We all made the mistake, so why don't you just join the club, huh?
Oh, Calvin, I cannot join your club. Look, I know you guys made an honest mistake, but for me it was something else. It was personal. It was too personal.
Look, Deborah...
Yeah, Chief, isn't it true that Molly tried to shoot Raven?
She did shoot her. Fortunately, she used the gun that I gave Raven.
What?
The chief didn't think Mr. Swift should be trusted with live ammo.
I suppose it was a lousy trick, loading the gun with blanks. I was just afraid if I didn't give Raven a loaded gun, she would have gotten one on her own, wound up shooting the milkman or somebody.
So she's all right now?
She's a little shaken up. She went out to the Scott's house out in Oakdale, you know.
She shook up Molly Sherwood pretty good, too. Enough to send her to her death down a flight of stairs.
My God.
If she hadn't gone out there, April would be dead this morning.
So instead of Raven being the villain, she turns out to be the heroine.
I guess you could put it that way.
Look, this is all a very interesting post-mortem, but I think you guys better get back to your desks. You know, a lot of loose ends to tie up on this case.
Here, Ruth, why don't we get back to work?
Yeah, I've got a loose end to tie up myself, Chief.
Yeah, I really do want to talk to you, actually. You're the first reporter that's called me.
You don't worry because you're going to get more than you can handle, I'm sure. I'm just the first simply because I have an inside track on this.
That's right. You're very close to April and Draper, right?
We were stunned to hear what happened out at Oakdale last night.
I mean, the news is very sketchy, but I understand that Draper and April and the baby's
Still out there?
Yes, they wanted me to stay out there, but I just couldn't. I needed to come back here and rest. Yeah, well, that's exactly what you should do. The only reason I called is to find out if I could make an appointment to interview you, if you'll give me one.
Well, I'd really like to sleep a couple of hours. Look, why don't you call early this afternoon and we'll get together then, okay?
Terrific. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. Oh, who is it?
It's Geraldine.
Hello. What are you doing here?
I came to see if you were all right, Raven.
Obviously, you heard about last night.
Yes, I've heard. And I was very worried about you.
You were worried about me?
Yes, my dear.
Well, I don't believe it. Somebody is actually worried about me.
Raven, from what I've heard, you've been through a terrible ordeal.
Yes. The woman meant to murder me.
For heaven's sake, why?
Because she thought that I saw her the night Elliot Dorn was murdered at the Unicorn.
How could that possibly be?
Well, because I was at the Unicorn that night, and I did see someone, but it was a shadow.
Then you had told the police that shadow was Molly Sherwood?
Well, not exactly. But see, she assumed that I could identify her because she was there, so she shot me. She fired at me point blank with my own gun. Thank heavens I had put blanks in the gun instead of bullets.
Then you went to the Scott's house. From what I heard on the news this morning, your entrance into that house was what caused that woman's death.
She thought she'd killed me. But actually, you see, I fainted when she shot me, so she only thought I was dead.
But then, when you entered that house, she must have thought you were a ghost.
She was so scared she fell down the stairs.
And you saved April's life.
April was lying there unconscious. She had a noose around her neck. You wouldn't have believed it. If I hadn't showed up when I did, Molly would have killed her.
As I say, you saved April's life, and that was a wonderful thing.
That's true. I did save April's life, didn't I?
I don't think there's any question of it. You might very well find yourself the heroine of the hour, my dear.